ESPN has suspended Bill Simmons for something egregious that he said on his podcast, Grantland. He said that Roger Goodell was lying when he was saying that he was not aware of what happened in the Ray Rice tape. Oh! How could he say that? What an outrage. I'm so glad they suspended him. Bill Simmons is a questionable character. I can't believe he would defame the beloved Roger Goodell in this way. If you don't know, Roger Goodell is the NFL Commissioner. Ray Rice, of course, was the player who punched his girlfriend unconscious in an elevator. He received a 2-week suspension. And then later we saw the tape. We saw the tape of him dragging out the unconscious girlfriend, fiancée at the time, out of the elevator. We had already seen that when he got the 2-week suspension. Afterwards, we got the tape of what happened inside the elevator, and you see him punching her head hitting the railing, and him not caring, right? But what did you think happened inside the elevator? Now the commissioner said, oh my God, I didn't know that's what happened inside the elevator. Now I'm going to give him indefinite suspension. Who doesn't think Roger Goodell was lying? So let me give you the exact quote here from Bill Simmons. And it does have profanity, so watch out, kids. Your heads might explode. Goodell, Simmons says, if he didn't know what was on that tape, he's a liar. I'm just saying it. He's lying. I think that dude is lying. If you put him up on a lie detector test, that guy would fail. For all these people to pretend they didn't know is such fucking bullshit. It really is. It's such fucking bullshit. And for him to go in that press conference and pretend otherwise, I was so insulted. I really was. Now, did they suspend him because of the cursing? No. Have people cursed on podcasts before? Yes. Has he cursed on podcasts? Yes. Are you allowed to curse on podcasts? Yes. No, they suspended him because he called Roger Goodell a liar. But once again, if you polled the country, I don't know how many people would think that he wasn't lying. So you might think, hey, maybe he really didn't see the tape. That's possible. He didn't know what was on the tape. He called him a liar for saying he didn't know what was on the tape. Well, you know that Ray Rice knocked her out. He admitted it. You saw in the earlier tape Ray Rice dragging her unconscious body out of an elevator. And you're saying you didn't know what happened in the elevator? No, that's a lie. I think 90% of the country would say that was a lie, but at a bare minimum, it'd be 70%. So Bill Simmons, for agreeing with a great majority of the country, is suspended. ESPN put out this statement. Every employee must be accountable to ESPN, and those engaged in our editorial operations must also operate within ESPN's journalistic standards. I wonder what those are. We have worked hard to ensure that our recent NFL coverage has met that criteria. Bill Simmons did not meet those obligations in a recent podcast, and as a result, we have suspended him for 3 weeks. So understand what's happening here. This is a really important story. It's not just about sports. It's about what the mainstream media has to do to get access. Now, in the case of politics, it's access to politicians. So they have to kiss the ass of the politicians. They have to pretend that the legalized bribes that they take are not corrupting, that they're honorable gentlemen from Nebraska, Connecticut, etc., right? In the case of entertainment, they have to kiss the ass of the celebrities in order to get interviews with them after their movies, before their movies, etc. In the case of sports, they have to kiss the ass of the leagues because ESPN has an enormous contract with the NFL. Now, NFL understands that they're going to get some limited criticism from ESPN as they're getting massive criticism from everyone else. You can't stop that. It would look really bad. It would look like Pravda, right? But they say you got to keep it in a box. You've got to contain it and not go so far as to question our intentions, etc. So when Bill Simmons goes outside of those tight parameters, they said, that's it. Nope. And hey, whether they explicitly say it or not, it's just like with the tape. It is very clear what is happening behind closed doors. If you roll tape on the ESPN and NFL offices, what you would get is a very angry NFL saying to ESPN, do you like your contract? Even if they don't say it, it'll be clear within the lines. You know, we can give that multi-billion-dollar contract to someone else. We can give it to NBC, we can give it to CBS, we can give it to anybody we like, right? Now, you bow your head and you do as the power establishment tells you, okay? And this is ESPN telling Bill Simmons, who do you think you work for? So he's an ESPN commentator. Bill Simmons, look, did an amazing job of building up his blog, which is beloved by many sports fans across the country. Does a great job on Grantland. And a lot of people were worried that ESPN was making him soft. Well, now you can see that the pressure that happens Oftentimes, by the way, before any of this goes down, there'll have been talks, there'll have been implications, and obviously here, Bill Simmons couldn't contain himself anymore, and he went and did this, and then they make it explicit. Now you're suspended, because your criticism of the NFL went a little too far. You said what most people agree with, and we can't have that. Tight little parameters. Oh, we are concerned about what the NFL might have done, about the length of the suspension. But you can't call them liars. They're honorable gentlemen from the NFL who we have a large contract with. That's how the mainstream media works. Bill Simmons should obviously leave ESPN. Easy for me to say. Well, on the other hand, I've left places, so it's not like I'm just talking, right? I don't know how much his contract is. I don't know if he's going to leave. But if you stay at ESPN, this is what they do to you. And then you can't be an honest commentator. It sucks, but unfortunately it's reality. Now, finally, think about this. The original suspension for Ray Rice for knocking his fiancée unconscious and dragging her unconscious body out of the elevator, totally indifferent to her fate, 2 weeks. ESPN suspends Bill Simmons for saying that he doesn't believe the NFL commissioner didn't know about the second tape, 3 week suspension. So apparently criticizing the NFL commissioner is a worse crime than knocking your fiancé unconscious, according to the NFL and ESPN. Now, of course, NFL backpedaled later after taking a lot of heat and suspended him for longer. And I don't know if ESPN is going to backpedal from this because it's terrible press. But whether they backpedal or not, now you know that's actually what happens. And now you know, and I love ESPN, so I hate to say this, but now you know you're not really getting honest coverage from them either. That there are bounds, and they will not go outside those bounds to tell you the truth of what's happening on the field if it means criticizing the NFL in any substantive way.